Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And we have a sort of interesting laptop for you. Found this one a while back. The CPU on it is just so bad that I put Windows 7 on it, and I wasn't satisfied with its performance. Let's take a look at some of the ports on it. I obviously installed Windows 8, as you might have seen in my short, or maybe you didn't. Maybe this is the first time tuning in. So yeah, put Windows 8.1 on this thing. So anyway, let's take a look at the ports and stuff. We got a lock, power, grill to exhaust. You got yourself your HDMI. You got a wired network jack. You've got a USB Linky Lights audio. Around the front, there's really nothing. You got an awful shine coming off the plastic. You've got a couple more USB. You've got a optical drive. And that's about all she wrote. This one doesn't have the battery, unfortunately, so that's that. It's a plug-in play type of device now. Plug in and play. So yeah, there you go. The keyboard is reasonable in the wrist rest, and it's got a decent size trackpad. So yeah, it's nice that way. And a nice big screen. Should we shut this and see? That's basically the top of it. Nothing special. Definitely feels econo, a very budget-oriented system. So let's take a look at some of the details of Windows 8 and the specs today. So as you can see, it's running a AMD E1 2100 processor with 4 gigabytes of RAM. The name of the system is an HP 15-G011A. Really love the naming of these systems by HP. But yeah, there you go. So it's activated. It auto activates because it has the the code in the BIOS, and that's one of the nice things if you do install. If you install Windows 8 on a system like this, you don't have to worry about punching in codes or anything. So there you go. It's running in the AMD Radeon HD 8210, and there's the processors, 2 of them. We'll get into that in more detail, but just showing that there's no issues with the drivers. Found all the drivers for it. It wasn't that hard to find. All right, so I don't think there's anything else to show you here. This is the time period where they got rid of the experience index that they used to have in Windows 7, because let's face it, these systems were getting really, really bad, and it was just hurting the manufacturers to have that showing up. They could really step down with Windows 8 versus Windows 7, because Windows 7 with the Aero glass and all that stuff required actually more, was more demanding, required more out of the system than Windows 8. That's why we're trying Windows 8 to see how it runs, if it's any better. So far, my experience has been that it's been pretty slow too, but well, I'll give it a shot. It's got the I put in the shell. Where is it here? I can find my. Here I can hardly see my. There we go. So this is the shell, the classic shell, which allows you to sort of, as you can see, have a start menu like this, not like this, because as we remember, this is not what you want to see every time you open your computer. So that with the classic shell, it's more very Windows. Sorry, it's very Windows 70. Really hard for me to see my mouse in the whiteness of this display. There you go, guys. So that's classic shell. If you are running Windows 8 still, or decide to install Windows 8, hunt down classic shell. You'll appreciate it. It's a real benefit to the system. So we're going to do, obviously, we're going to look at benchmark as per the usual, but we're going to look at some of the details of the system, and here we go. So yeah, we're going to look at this. This is the processor. What a odd processor this thing has. It does have a fair number of different instruction sets because, of course, it isn't really like an ancient processor, but it feels like an ancient processor. It's got 2 cores, 2 threads, so better than very few of my systems, but there are the few that are still single core that I have kicking around. The BIOS are from 2013. I believe the laptop was from 2012, so it's been updated a little bit. It's running fine, so I won't bother with anything there. It's got 4 gigabytes of RAM, single because it's only got a single slot for the RAM, I believe. Let's take a look. Yep. So it's one of these, you know, step down type things. So it's got, yeah, it's got apparently 2018 RAM, so it must have been updated. DDR3, Kingston, yeah, Kingston usually is updated. So there you go. It's running 4. I wonder if it came with 2. That would have been pretty bad. Anyway, it's got 4, so that's at least okay for this system. There you go. There's the graphics info there for those interested. We'll shut that. Move on to Specky to see what we're dealing with as far as temps. So the temps are looking good. It hasn't done anything, so wouldn't expect it to be too hot. I think the temps are fine with this thing, in my experience so far at least. There you go. There's the info about it. I don't think there's anything really worth talking about too much. It's running, the graphics are running at 1366 by 768, which is a very decent dimension for this sort of thing for my use. Yeah, Windows 8, 64. There you go. I don't think there's much else to really say there. It's just a summary of everything. Here we go. So let's take a look at the old Crystal disk info. We got a 320 gigabyte hard drive, Western Digital. Let's take a look at those hours. 109, not bad. Not even a third of the year or something. Very low miler, and obviously no issues. It's all good. So like to see that. So just the RAM and the excuse me, got a little bit of a problem with allergies this year. Anyway, yeah, so even just for the RAM and hard drive, it's not a bad pickup. And here we go. Here's the benchmark. So true to form, AMD was coming out with some very inexpensive chips, and the performance matched the price. But let's find out how this thing does with Nova Bench. I picked Nova Bench because it runs an XP all the way to Windows 10, and it tends to give me a pretty good baseline score. So that's sort of why I use this particular piece of software. I know there's all those other ones out there, which, you know, Cinebench and all that sort of thing, but what's the point of doing that with a you know, a lot of these XP level PCs that I pick up, right? I want something I can get a reading on across a whole lot of different systems. Like my last one I got was in the 500s, high 500s, I think, for a score. And that's sort of a combined score of the CPU and the graphics and other factors that weigh in too, like speed of memory and stuff like that. So it gives us just sort of a way to measure these things. And wow, not really great transfer speeds on the RAM. Yeah, so with a single slot of RAM, you're not getting that extra boost. And let's take a look at the graphics. Well, you know, not bad at all. 165. Well, up even in the 190s. So that's interesting to me, actually. That's benchmark score. True with AMD's, their actual processor would be awful, but their graphics would still come out not bad. So there's your score. It's not probably about half. Nope, not even half. It's coming out at yeah. Wow. So yeah, it's coming out pretty badly. It's coming out with a very bad score. But let's take a look at the detail. So okay, so the RAM scored 99, which is fine for a single stick of RAM. But that CPU score of 87 is astoundingly low. It's really low. But then again, then you got the graphics at, you know, 163 frames per second. So, and a decent, you know, 49 isn't bad at all. So they just put a little bit more effort into that, or whatever, processor power into that CPU. So it all, yeah, wouldn't be a half bad system. Hardware score is a little low too. Probably the transfer speeds are being hampered by that processor and the single transfer rate of the RAM, and obviously other factors involved with how quickly it can read write. But having that processor running at 87 can't be helping the overall score of hardware test. So yeah, does pretty good with the graphics though. It really doesn't do bad for that. But that one, it's only like it's 1 megahertz. Come on, guys, what are you doing? Anyway, there you go, guys. That is going to be the summary on this one after getting it all. Let's see, save. Close unsaved. Yes. Here we go. Yeah, that's the efforts that I went to try and get this thing refurbished. It's got all my standard apps, and it's got everything running properly, and it's ready for the old coffee shop when I want to take a weak system like this to do some word processing, spreadsheeting, and stuff of that level of activity. It works fine with Word and Excel and, I don't know, OneNote or whatever. It does have one issue I noticed. Same problem with Windows 7, so it's a hardware issue. It's not a driver issue. Is that it doesn't have any sound, so I'd have to use an external sound card, and I have a few. I picked up a few over the years from the thrift store that have shown up. So I got about probably 5 different ones to choose from if I want to give it sound. Since it doesn't have a battery, you know, it could even be a desktop sort of scenario anyway. And having a little sound card sort of externally out of one of the USBs isn't a big deal. The screen's nice and bright. It's got a nice bright big screen. I did clean it and didn't seem to get any cleaner in it, so that was a nice thing. So there you go, guys. It's about 15 minutes, a little longer than I usually like to take. I like to try and keep it to 8 minutes because of mid-rolls, but this time you're getting some mid-rolls, probably. And that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope your day is going well. And as we head into the weekend, I guess, pretty soon. Yeah, things are going well over here in refurb land and my real work. And yeah, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you later.